nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you
Awesome.
too.
So your name is pronounced Liz, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. My name is Hannah, and I'm so excited to talk to you about the book Think and Grow Rich. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Awesome.
So it's kind of a long story. I just started like self-development like a year ago about this time actually. I have been thinking about it a lot. I was always like a pretty like I was a go-getter as a kid. Like 3 years old, I learned how to ride a bike without training wheels because I saw 16-year-old girls like riding their bike, and like I wanted to be like them. So I did at 3 years old. Same with skiing. Like I was a really good skier, still a really good skier. But then just like, you know how life gets to you
Right.
as we get older, like things change. So I lost a lot of confidence in myself. And then just after college, like I graduated, I'm an accountant full time.
Very nice.
So I was fortunate to graduate with a job right out of college at 21. And then I had also, like, I bought a house at 22. So that kind of, like, it was a struggle just because obviously bills on bills on bills. So
Right. That's a lot.
that, it was hard. Like, I think a lot of people can relate to that. Like, it just, life can get really hard, and we get stuck in the traditional cycle of go to college, get a good degree, and find a good job. And just after getting a house and everything, I realized like I know there's got to be so much more to life than that. So that's when I started to do a lot of more just like self-development, soul searching, and things were like leading up to a different path, sort of signs and synchronicities that I was on the right path. So I discovered Think and Grow Rich pretty recently. It was in the summer. So I listened to it on just YouTube, like Audible, but I bought it on Audible also so that I can listen to it all the time. And I think just what struck me the most is anything can become a reality. Like all money is like energy. So if you have an idea, all you have to do is put in a plan and an action to create that idea and make it come real. So after I discovered Think and Grow Rich, like my mindset completely changed. I joined a couple sort of multi-level marketing companies. And for me, like, it's been a step in the right direction. I'm in the organized planning phase. So I see,
nice.
Right? I know.
Yeah, that's good.
So I see the opportunity because of Think and Grow Rich, that like, if you, all the MLMs it's an opportunity.
Right.
So to grow your own business. So I feel like anybody who's in a part of those companies, like you don't need to create your own brand because the brand's already made. All you need to do is learn how to sell. So what I'm in the process of is I joined two, like I said, financial planning. So one of my marketing companies that I'm with is one of the North America's like largest financial independent financial services company,
right?
Because obviously like the company that's in the industry with money is probably going to have the most amount of money,
right? So let me ask you, if you don't mind me interjecting. So
yeah,
with your journey of feeling like you're struggling, you had a lot of success early on. You're very young still. And now I feel like you have found a path that you're surrounded by more people who are inspiring you, trying to lift you up. So, I mean, when it comes back to the book, I know you recently got into it, but what would you say was a chapter in this book that was very impactful? Because it sounds like it did make you have a shift in the way you felt about life and about your potential.
Right. So honestly, like all of the chapters, I think fear, the last chapter about the 6 fears, I think everybody is afraid of criticism,
Hmm.
you know, criticism and just fear of yourself, not believing in yourself, which is obviously another chapter.
Yes.
You need to believe that you can do anything. If you don't have the belief in yourself, and if you don't have the belief in your product or service, then you're never going to be successful.
Mm.
So I think definitely having the belief, and then also just having faith that you're on the right path, that if you don't end up succeeding, there's other ways to go about it.
Right.
So there's always
Hmm.
going to be another opportunity to make you successful, I guess, and
I
to grow
agree.
what you're trying to create.
Now, Liz, you know, you and I were a little bit of the younger generation. Let me ask you what you think about this, because I noticed a lot of people, the people who are very familiar with Think and Grow Rich, they are a little bit older, and I feel like our generation, they have not been exposed to this book as much. Would you
Mm-hmm.
say that this is a difficult book to read, or what would be your recommendation for someone getting into this for the first time, just like how you were? And being able to dissect this, because what I tell people is, you know, to just do a little bit at a time, because it can be very heavy when it comes to, if you've never been exposed to self-improvement or anything like this.
Right. Um, so I don't know. I didn't have a horrible time understanding like what was all of the points of the book. But I would say the first step is just to trust yourself. Trust that the book is going to help you. Just learn how to dissect and just figure out what your goals are, which was another, just I guess another point in the book.
Right. Hmm.
Really, you need to go step by step. You need to really think about everything. So I think the book definitely lays out a pretty good foundation to get you started, and all of the tools that you need in order to start your own business, or like whatever your financial goals are. I think the book
Yeah.
does a really good job of breaking down each emotion, and just each I guess emotion. Yeah, emotion,
Right. That's
desire.
true.
They're all emotions.
Yeah. What city are
So
you in, by the way?
I'm in Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay, so
Yes.
well, welcome. We're from LA, so from Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, nice, very nice. So let me ask you this: you mentioned goals, and you know, and in
Yeah.
this book, there's a very specific plan on how to do goal setting. What's something that you've been able to implement on a daily basis? You know, that something from this book that you've taken, maybe you've had your own spin on it, your own version of how you're doing it. What's something you're doing on a daily basis?
So on a daily basis, I just kind of I think all the time, which is horrible, but like I'm constantly thinking of like new ideas or something that I can apply, just new ways that I think I can help other people as well.
Mm,
Um, so because just like another point from the book, the more value that you can add and the more that you can help other people, the more money that you're gonna make.
right.
Um, so I think just trying to figure out what's best for you, what you're passionate about, what you already know and kind of have a background in,
Mhm.
will help you reach your end goal. You obviously need to have a dollar amount, like hopefully by next year I'll have $500,000. That's the
That's right.
goal.
Yeah.
We'll
It's not.
see.
It's not. That's a
Put in
pretty good goal. I
a
like that
lot
goal.
of work, but yeah, just goals, and then following through with the steps and
Mm.
knowing what the steps are. So like for me, I knew that I need to in order for things to come real, like I opened a business account, so I'm
Mhm.
ready for that money to start flowing into me.
Nice.
And you know, just signing up for the opportunities to create that income.
Hmm.
So yeah, so
No, that's
I'm
great. It sounds like
always
what you've
thinking.
learned is, it sounds like you're a lot more open-minded. So the
I'm very
belief is
open-minded.
there. The
Yeah.
belief is there. You believe that it can happen. You
Right.
don't have to have the know-how, but you got to start somewhere. So I like that, because you're opening up a business account. It's the first step. It's one
Right.
step in the right direction. You don't have to have the end goal, end game of how you're going to have it happen, but you understand that the principles in this book is all about making the decision. You have to have a
Mhm.
decision made, but it's having that faith. So that brings me to something that, like, everyone has a different answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you this. In the book, he's saying that, you know, from the first part of this book to the end part of the book, there's a secret in this book. And depending on where you're reading, it might come to you. So let me ask you, what's the secret in this book for you? What was it?
So for me, the secret is that it just comes from an idea. An idea and a thought can become a reality.
Mm.
That's that's what I think.
It's very powerful, because in this book we're talking about the subconscious mind. We're talking about thoughts becoming into reality, and it's pretty heavy if you've never heard any of this before. But I think it's a testament where people say, you know, how you're saying there's things that are serendipitous, or there's coincidences that people say, but the truth is that when you've had it happen to you, where something is miraculous, something out of nowhere happens, and you just feel so good about it, things get attracted to you. And I really believe that, you know, have you read have you watched the movie The Secret?
I have, yes, I have.
Right. So that's a book. Yeah, that's a book that that's a movie that most people have seen. They made me see it in high school, so I appreciate my high school for making me see that. But
yeah.
I think that, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I feel like Think and Grow Rich was kind of the foundation of everything, and The Secret brought to life. And, you know, with being a movie and everybody seeing it, they now had their minds open to believing that, okay, there's something more to life than just, you know, you have to physically create your reality with the actual things you're doing. It doesn't start in your mind. And now I think we are becoming more conscious as a society that it does start with your mind. So that's congratulations, because it sounds like you are heading in the right direction. And I'm excited for you, because you're saying 500,000, and I'm gonna have to hold you to that. So we're gonna have to stay in touch, and I'm gonna have to find out if that happens.
I hope the goal is 2 million in 5 years. So.
Well, there you go.
We'll see. But...
Oh my goodness. So I mean, one more question for you. You know, when it comes to, you mentioned that a lot of the times our bank account is related to how much value we are giving to people, and you know, this book definitely talks about that. And with what we're doing in our organization, Elite Mastermind, it's exactly the same thing, is bringing people together so that we can share and give value to other people, help them lift themselves up, you know, create a better life for themselves, and have people start believing in themselves. Because I think that's where, you know, around the world right now, things are pretty bad in some places, and it's like, all we can do is give love and show that you just got to believe everything's going to be okay, you know? So one thing I would say for you is, what's one message that you would tell people that maybe they're going through a hard time? They don't believe that things can change, things can get better. They have very, very low self-esteem and faith. What's one thing you can say to somebody of where do you start? What do you do?
So I was at all of those points.
Right.
I had a really low self-esteem. But I think the first step would just be take a step back, and just kind of seclude yourself. Think about what you really enjoy. Think about all of the things that really make you happy. And I think everything else will end up falling into place. And, you know, it is true, because I'm here speaking with you on this interview. I wouldn't have thought that I'd be here a year ago. I wouldn't even have the confidence to probably talk to you on a live interview.
Yeah, first time we're meeting, by the way, guys. Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, first step, just figure out what you're passionate about and go from there. Opportunities will end up, I think, showing themselves in different forms. You just need to be open-minded about it and aware, and trust that what you're doing is gonna work out.
Wow. Yeah.
Just because you can literally do anything that you want.
That's very true. Well, thank you so much, Liz. I appreciate your time and your insight. I feel like this definitely brought a lot of value to people who, you know, especially like how you said, you just got introduced to this in the summer. So it's never, oh, I haven't read it, it's too late for me. You can start anytime. So I appreciate your time, and I'm hoping that we can do some more interviews in the future, and also be updated on what your status is, your progress, and, you know, be a community. of people
Yeah,
helping other
definitely.
people. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And guys, make sure to follow Liz. That's Liz_dates, Dates. That's right. Well, thank you so much, Liz. We'll see you next time, and I appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
I love it. Thank you. See you.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.